What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Stout Out Show, your one-stop shop for all things MMA bets, breakdowns, and predictions. On deck for today's show, we have UFC Fight Night 285, aka UFC Sacramento. It's going down this Saturday, August 22nd. In the main event, clash of two heavy hitters in the middleweights. We have Anthony Fluffy Hernandez taking on Gregory Robocop Rodrigues. That's going to be a good one. But before we get into that, we're going to be breaking down every single fight all the way from the prelims to the main card. As always, boys and girls, if you like what you're hearing, like what you're seeing, please like, comment, and subscribe. Drop some comments if you're riding with us. If not, still love to hear from you anyway. Anyway, let's get right into it. All right, to kick things off, our first fight of the night is going to be in the strawweight division. We have Shanelle Dyer taking on Elise Reed. Dyer is your minus 675 favorite, while Elise Reed is your plus 490 underdog. All right, Shanelle Dyer, all the way from across the pond in London. She's 1-0 in the UFC. She's coming off of a great TKO win against Ravina Oliveira that happened back in March. Big thing for her, she's never been finished. For those of you who've seen her fight before, she was actually a PLL tournament finalist. I mean, the girl is not new and experienced to this MMA thing at all. She's definitely a vet. She's definitely looking for a seat at the table in the women's strawweight division, all right? In terms of her striking, it's an elite pedigree. She's got over numerous titles from Muay Thai and K1. I mean, a lot of bouts under her belt. I mean, she loves the clinch. She has got really good hands, and in terms from K1 and Muay Thai, she's got 100% finish rate. I mean, we're talking 5 of her 7 wins in terms of MMA are all done by TKO or KO. Not to talk about her ground and pound either. When she was fighting Ravina Oliveira, she was 100% across the board on her takedowns. She didn't get stuffed one time. And when she did take her down, she was raining bows from across. I mean, it was looking like Randy Savage just coming down with her with the Savage elbows. I mean, really, really good ground and pound. She landed about, 50 out of 79 significant strikes that fight? I mean, she was coming to take her head off. And that's really like what we like to see in the women's strawweight division in terms of, hey, if you smell blood in the water, we're like a shark. We're attacking that shit, okay? Also, really good high volume output. She lands about 7 significant strikes a minute. So she is definitely, again, we're all about volume. We're all about outpacing our opponents. The big thing with her is, she did fight on Dana White's Contender Series to Carol Ferro. She did lose by decision by that. I mean, that's really a red flag to us. I mean, if she goes past the second round and she gets into the third round, her cardio isn't going to be good for that late round fighting in terms of, do I have enough volume? Do I have enough output to last me the full fight? Do I have enough gas in the tank to get me there? Especially if I can't stop takedowns, right? Her amateur record was 8-3. And again, her biggest thing for her amateur-wise was, is fighting off my back. If I get taken down, can I get off my feet? And at that time, for Shanelle Dyer, the answer was inevitably no. I mean, she had a real struggle with that. And, again, live by the sword, die by the sword mentality that she has in terms of striking. It's really good until it's not. And by that, I mean, she's sitting right now at a 51% defense bench rate. So she's getting hit more than half the time. I mean, again, she's got a good chin. She can stay up for a while. But, I mean, if you get against a girl who can crack you one time, I mean, you were going down. I do not think that is going to be Elise Reed, on the other hand. Elise Reed is 4-5 in the UFC. She's coming off a TKO loss to Denise Gomes. That happened back in May. She's got, I mean, it's no secret. She's got an elite Taekwondo background. She's really good in that, that offensive Stephen Thompson, Michael Venom Page type of in and out pressure. I'm going to, hit you with those forward blitzes of energy, come out really kick, really point file starting, if you will. The Taekwondo style not only helps her for that, but it's really her kicking arsenal is very, very good. She's got your spinning attacks, whether it's, spinning elbows, question mark kicks, or just really keeping you on the edge with kicks in general, and using them as like a jab, you would say. But again, and she's like Shanelle Dyer in terms of relentless pace and output. She's going to drag you into those deep waters. She's going to have enough in the clips that she wants to outlast you, really try to outwork you for all 3 rounds. Her big thing, though, is her durability. I mean, it's no question that her chin is not as good as everybody else's in the strawweight division. I mean, Gobi's figured it out. Melissa Eubanks figured it out. I mean, again, these are girls who are going to touch you and sit, they sat her down. She's not really good defensive metrically. She's going to get hit a lot. Size and reach limitations also. Shanelle Dyer is sitting at around like 5'6". Melissa Reed's like what? She's a 5'3" with a 63-inch reach. So again, she's really going to need to close the distance to get in any type of damage. And she absorbs, like I said, around 3 significant strikes per minute. So she's getting hit early and often. But ironically enough, she has the same defensive metric as Shanelle Dyer. So she's like around 51%. I'm going to say this is the Stout Out lock of the night, minus 675. So we're saying Shanelle Dyer. I'm going to say late first round TKO, early second round TKO. All right, our next fight in the men's middleweight division, we have Wesley Schultz taking on Jackson McVey. Schultz is your plus 150 underdog, while Jackson McVey is your minus 185 favorite. All right, let's get into Wesley Schultz. He's 1-1 in the UFC. He's coming off a pretty good sub win against Ben Johnston. That happened back in April. He's never been submitted, and he's got a pretty good elite amateur college wrestling pedigree. D3 college wrestling All-American, really decorated background. He can dictate the pace where he wants it to be in terms of takedowns and fluidity on the ground, right? He's really good. I mean, a lot of his fights that he won before this, he dictated it in the first round. I believe 6 out of his 9 victories came by first round finishes. Very, very heavy submission guy. Like I said, 6 of his 9 wins are also by submission as well. I mean, he's really, really good on the ground in terms of trying to secure that submission. He's not going to just lay and prey on you. He's going to come down, trying to open your guard up with ground and pound and get that submission. And, again, he's going to try to lay that pace on you. The big thing with him, though, his chin is really, really questionable. I mean, we're looking at a defense rate of, 43%, so he's going to get hit. Not as much as, a below average guy, but he still absorbs around 3 significant strikes per minute. So he's been getting clipped. And for a guy who's, a decorated amateur wrestler, like a V3 All-American, his takedown accuracy is not as good as what you'd think it would be. He's sitting around 21%, which is kind of concerning in terms of, hey, man, I know you want to get this fight to the ground, but you've got to do it better than, 21% of it, 2 out of 10 times, my man. But, I mean, hey, I think Wesley Schultz is kind of starting to find his rhythm now. I know, another thing that kind of was a red flag for me was his defensive guard vulnerability. I know how he does on top, but from the guard is kind of fighting off his back is still a little bit of a question mark. Jackson McVey, on the other hand, I was really high on him coming into the UFC. He was undefeated, undefeated prospect coming into the UFC, and he had 100% finish rate too. So that I was, oh man, this guy's gonna, this is what the middleweight division needs. Nice infusion. The guy's got good height. He's really good in Muay Thai. He's 6'4". A lot of his strikes come from inside the clinch. 64% of his significant strikes come from inside the clinch in terms of elbows, those short uppercuts, those knees to the body. I mean, he really wants to make this fight into a phone booth fight. He's coming off of a submission win against Rodrigues Dumas. That happened in April. He's never been finished in terms of TKO or KO. He's another one of these guys that's got a really good submission ground game. He's a third-degree brown belt. I mean, he's really good in terms of guillotines and triangles. Really good and effective at finding the Darce choke. That's how he got Rodrigues Dumas out of there. His striking accuracy is surprisingly not bad either. I mean, he's landing 6 significant strikes per minute at a 69% clip. So if he wants to find your chin, he's going to find you. I mean, but that's coming in ways of, obviously, when he gets you in his nice Muay Thai clinch, that's pretty hard. But again, he gets hit quite a bit. Not quite a bit, I shouldn't say that. He absorbs around 3 significant strikes a minute, but his striking defense is pretty good. It's set right around 23%. The biggest thing for me is, he came into the UFC. He got submitted twice right off the bat. One was to Zachary Reese, and the other was to Bruno Ferreira. I mean, for a guy that was that built up with 100% finish rate, he got subbed out of there pretty quick. So I'm going to ride with the underdog in this one. I'm going to say Jackson McVey takes this. I'm going to say he's going to do it either late first round or early second round submission. I just don't think Wesley Schultz, he's good on the ground, but I don't think he's Jackson McVey good. So Jackson McVey for the submission. Up next in the lightweight division, we have Gage Young taking on Stanley the Drill Dorsainvil. Gage Young is your minus 150 favorite, while Dorsainvil is your plus 125 dog. All right, Gage Young, he's 2-1 in the UFC. He's coming off a pretty solid split decision win against Thiago Moises that happened in April. Never been finished in terms of TKO or KO, so he's got a pretty good chin. And he's riding a 2-fight win streak. Gage Young is another one of these guys. He's a wrestler. He's been doing it since the age of 12, so he's got a really good high-volume pressure and output. He is going to look to get you up against the cage and take you down as many times as humanly possible. I mean, we're talking some serious mat returns. And His stand-up is good. It's evolving. He's around like what, six significant strikes per minute, so he can hit you when he wants to, okay? Like I said, really good athletically in terms of wrestling. He knows how to look for those transitions pretty well. And in terms of stand-up, he's got that switch stance power, so he's not on one side predominantly orthodox or predominantly southpaw. You know, Prior to his run in the UFC, he has 6 career knockouts. So he does have some hands when the opportunity presents himself. It's just you really haven't seen it as much in the UFC. Good heavy hooks, good body kicks, which I like. So he's got some weapons in the tool bag if he needs to keep the fight standing. His striking defense, on the other hand, is a whole other game. All right, we're talking about a 49% defensive rate in terms of at a clip for defensive strikes, and he absorbs around 5 significant shots per minute. So he's getting hit early and often, but not enough to really sit him down too much. Like I said, he's got that athletic ability from wrestling, but I did notice a little third round cardio drop off. So if the fight gets into the deep waters in the later rounds, we don't see as much energy as him. It's pretty hard for him to conserve that. And his ground, while his development on the ground is good in terms of taking people down, still a little, is he with the top tier submission guys? No. Can he really fight off his back and off the scramble well on his back? Still, a little left to be desired there. He can get put on his back a couple times. It's pretty hard for him to get to his feet or, sweep positions. So we'll see in this fight because Stanley Dorsainvil, a lot of people are calling him a sleeper of this card. South Florida guy, undefeated. All of his wins prior to the UFC are all finishes. Really legit jiu-jitsu black belt. I mean, he coaches as well for his team. I mean, this guy knows how to fucking put you in a submission. Biggest thing for me, obviously he's coming off of a 10-day short notice, notification. But for a guy who's saying, hey, getting put on the card at 10 days notice and only sitting at a plus 125, that's pretty good, right? I mean, he's got good relentless pace, smothering pressure, really, closes the distance aggressively, very wrestling top heavy, wants to get you to the ground, wants to sub you out. Evolving in terms of his striking game. Really good at kickboxing when it comes to implementing those kickboxing / Muay Thai mechanics, keeping you at the end of your jab, using those push and oblique kicks really well. Just really trying to get that counter shots going. He still has pocket vulnerabilities when he fights and standing. He can be reckless. He can throw his hooks really wide, kind of leave his chin up in the air. He's been known to really eat some leg kicks every once in a while. But the thing that a lot of people aren't talking about Dorsainvil was his last fight was his first fight in 2026. He fought in 2024, and then he had a year-long layoff. I'm not sure if it was due to injury or personal reasons, but either way, that's a 1.5 year long layoff. I mean, ring rust is a very real thing. So, and now you're going from the regional scene to the UFC where the competition is very top caliber. And he's never fought a guy like Gage Young in terms of wrestling, in terms of pressure. Definitely not fought a guy like Gage Young on a short camp in a 10-day camp. So I'm going to ride with Gage Young on this one. I'm going to say Gage Young gets it done by decision. But, that it's pretty hard for me to bet on because, Dorsainvil can put you away if he gets a hold of you in the right position. So, but I'm still going to ride with Gage Young on this one. It's Gage Young by decision. Our next fight is in the featherweight division. We have Ryan Kuse taking on Marcio Barbosa. Kuse is your plus 625 underdog, while Barbosa is minus 950 favorite. All right, Ryan Kuse, he's making his UFC debut, and boy, is he picking a hell of an opponent to go against, boy. He's riding a 3-fight win streak. He's never been finished before in terms of TKO or KO. He's got a really good finishing ability. 70% of his wins are coming by way of finish, so he can definitely, put you out if you can. He's got a puncher's chance like anybody. Good striking versatility and power. He's a karate combat guy. Spent some time over there. Got some really good knockouts over there, so he can really use all points of his body well in terms of his legs and or fists. And he's got really good ground and pound too. Once he gets you to the ground, he blends a physical wrestling base with an aggressive, break your fucking face mentality. And once he's on top, he's really fucking throwing bombs from there. Does have some grappling defensive vulnerabilities. He can get taken down. He can get held to the ground a little bit. And he's got a little bit, I know he uses that street attitude, over aggression. I'm going to sit in the pocket or we're going to trade fucking bombs and see who comes out on top. I don't think that's the greatest strategy in terms of when you're fighting Marcio Barbosa. But hey, we'll see what happens. It definitely leaves the door open for Ryan Kuse to get finished. He's had some inconsistency at times, and by that I mean he's had some missed weights, he's had some fight cancellation bouts. You know, he's had some really meaningful cage time off. So again, it's when you're coming back from a guy against Marcio Barbosa, and that is a big fucking mountain to climb. Not saying it can't be done. Shout out to my boy Jeremiah Wells, got it done against Mitabek Orlabai, roughly the same odds, if not a little bit bigger. Fucking can't believe I lost on that. But back to Marcio Barbosa. All right, he's 1-0 in the UFC, coming off a great KO win against Dennis Bazooka that happened in April. He's riding a 5-fight win streak. Never been submitted. I don't think he's ever been finished before. I mean, dude. Oh no, I take that back. He's got two KOs. He's never been submitted before. But dude, this dude, when that bell rings, he is coming at you all gas, no brakes, and he is gonna put a pace on you and try to finish this fight. 17 out of his 18 wins are all in the first round. I mean, dude, this dude is a fucking warrior. And not to mention, even though he's a little guy, he's only 5'6", and he doesn't have that big of a reach. He packs a hell of a punch. I mean, he delivers that thing from fucking Georgia. I mean, he will put your lights out if he gets a hold of your chin. In terms of ground game, Luda Rive, several titles in Brazil, really good grappling game. You know, that's what he did prior to transitioning to MMA. Very good submission grappler. In terms of his, red flags, his deficiencies, if he has any, it's really, I mean, he has gotten put out twice, right? He has been KO'd twice. So he definitely can get knocked out. He is human after all. And Ryan Kuse can definitely if he can find his chin, he can definitely do it. Getting him in deep waters, he kind of has a little late round cardio. A lot of his fights have yet to see the full distance. He did have a split decision win on his record, but, very, very few go the full 3 rounds with Marcio Barbosa. Again, we're going to see, people who fight that really hard, aggressive style, again, they live by the sword, die by the sword. They can overextend. They can get overexposed, leave a chin out and get caught. He's going to rely on his chin and his physical toughness. That can be, a crack in the armor. We'll see, especially a guy against Ryan Kuse. But I do not like Ryan Kuse in this fight. I think Marcio Barbosa is going to take this one. I think it's going to be another round 1 stoppage. So round 1, KO, Marcio Barbosa. All right, next up in the lightweight division, we have Chris Padilla taking on Nasrat Haqparast. Haqparast is your plus 185 dog, while Padilla is your minus 225 favorite. All right, Padilla is 4-0-1 in the UFC. He's just coming off that draw against Markel Medeiros. We know that threw everybody through a fucking loop. I definitely thought he won that fight. I think the whole crowd thought he won that fight, but it is what it is. The cool thing I like about Padilla is prior to coming into the UFC, he kind of had a pedestrian record. It really wasn't that great. He's kind of found second life in the UFC, and he's going on one hell of a run. I mean, really good, brutal inside striking in terms of elbows. He lands those vicious short elbows, beautifully timed step-in elbows, likes to keep the fight close, little phone booth style, dirty boxing, really good takedown defense too. 80% takedown for defense. Again, he's not a guy that likes to get taken down and likes to fight off his back. He wants to keep this fight standing as much as humanly possible. Really good forward pressure and high volume output. Lands a staggering 6 significant strikes a minute and just relies on relentless pressure to break his opponent's rhythm, kind of get him out of their game. And he's got a pretty good opportunistic top game too in terms of, if he does get you down on the ground, he is not looking just to lay and pray. He is going to fucking do really good brutal, like I said, he loves those brutal elbows and those short time elbows to open opponents up, really good at that technique. In terms of striking defense, little less there to be desired. He's sitting around, 50% striking defense, and he eats about 4 significant strikes per minute, so he can definitely get hit. When you're coming forward that much, again, he's leaving himself open for counters. He definitely can get knocked out, but he's on a pretty good run right now. The thing with this fight, I definitely see this fight standing for the majority of the thing. He's got a low offensive volume wrestling. Haqparast's takedowns are pretty much non-existent. Padilla averages, 1 takedown per 15 minutes, and he's looking at it at 28% accuracy. So he's not looking to take you down. He's looking to keep this fight standing, okay? Has some submission vulnerabilities. That's kind of his chink in his armor, the kryptonite that he has. But again, Haqparast is not looking to take you down. Haqparast, his takedown accuracy is 20% throughout his career. I mean, he is, pretty much one layered offensively. He is looking to keep the fight standing, looking to take you out on the feet. Moving on to Nasrat Haqparast, he's 10-5 in the UFC. For those who didn't see it, highlight reel KO loss to Killen Salkill that happened in October. I mean, I actually had Haqparast to win that fight. I thought that was a big step up for Killen Salkill. And, prior to that, Haqparast was on a little bit of a run there. Wrong. I mean, he got just knocked the fuck out. But Haqparast, on the bright side, 10 out of those 18 wins have come by knockout. I mean, he definitely has some legit hands. He lands around 6 significant strikes per minute. He's good at overwhelming opponents with really good combinations, and he's got a really good devastating left hand too. He's a really good takedown defense guy in his own right. He's sitting at around 84 and 85 takedown defense. Does that really matter going against Chris Padilla? Nope. I don't think these guys are even trying to get this fight to the ground. I keep saying that, but that's a fact. What I do like about Haqparast, though, he wants to dictate the fight in terms of he's going to go take the center of the cage almost immediately. Does not want to, go chasing. He wants to dictate the pace, cut off angles, really, really make sure he can, take the fight where it wants to go. But really one-dimensional offensive layering, not looking to take you down, not trying to mix it up too much. This is my potential fight of the night, I think, because both of these guys are really, really, coming into their own. Haqparast obviously had a little hiccup there, but, I'm going to ride with momentum on this one. I think Chris Padilla has enough to get it done. I'm going to say Chris Padilla is going to get it done via decision. Going to, outlast him all 3 rounds. So Chris Padilla is going to win it, unanimous decision. All right, our next fight is in the heavyweight division. We have Kennedy Nzechukwu taking on Shamil Gaziev. Nzechukwu is your plus 110 underdog, while Gaziev is your minus 135 favorite. Kind of surprising with those odds there. Nzechukwu is 8-6-1 in the UFC. He's coming off of a draw against Marcus Almeida that happened back in December. Dude, Kennedy Nzechukwu is built like a brick shithouse. That dude is 6'5" with an 83-inch reach advantage. I mean, I don't know if football ever didn't work out for Kennedy Nzechukwu, but Jesus, he's built like a tight end, man. Really good combination of height and speed, height and reach as well. He's got that one-punch knockout power. We saw it when he was in the light heavyweights. He knocked out Lucas Brzezinski. He knocked out Chris Barnett. That happened in both late 2024. So he can definitely end the fight in a single exchange, and that's pretty much my big thing going into this fight, especially against a guy like Shamil Gaziev. Good anti-wrestling as well. Sits at around 80% for a takedown defense. It takes a lot to get him down to the ground. I mean, not only that, but I mean, he's so fucking strong. Striking defense is a little bit there left to be desired. He eats around 4 significant strikes per minute at a 51% clip, so he's definitely getting hit. He is susceptible to some submissions. He did lose to Walter Walker, but Walter Walker is on a generational run in terms of leg locks and submissions. I mean, he's getting guys down and tapping them almost instantly. So while that is a loss on his record, I mean, you got to look at where it's coming from. Walter Walker is fucking awesome right now. Don't like Nzechukwu when it gets in close. When people break his distance and get him in that phone book range and dirty boxing. His wing, he looks really, really awkward when he's trying to when people close the distance. He looks mechanically stiff. Really top tier counters and counter punchers can eat him up alive in that phone booth, dirty boxing technique. Gaziev, on the other hand, he's 3-3 in the UFC. He's just coming off a loss against Brando Perisic. I mean, he's riding a 2-fight losing streak, right? And both of those losses have come by KO. As a matter of fact, I think all 3 of his losses have come by knockout. I mean, his chin is going away. That's no secret, right? I mean, and again, you're fighting a guy as big as Kennedy Nzechukwu who packs a power punch. So that really stands out to me. Gaziev, on the other hand, he's got devastating first-round finishing fights. 9 of his 14 wins have come by first-round finish. I mean, he's really good. He's got a good straight right hand. It's pretty, he throws it really well, sits down in the pocket in it. Comes from that Dagestani wrestling base. That's Dagestani clinch work. Immense upper body strength. I'm going to use my bruising double leg takedown, or I'm going to try to get you up against the fence and do a mat return, or just really fight you in close like that. Nzechukwu is a big dude, but he's not too much bigger than Gaziev. I think Gaziev's 6'3". So, and then his defensive, Gaziev's grappling, on the other hand, in terms of defensively, he's sitting at around an 83% defensive grappling technique. So I don't think you're getting him to the ground anytime soon. And I don't think this fight's, again, this is another one that, unless Gaziev really wants to go to the ground, I don't see Nzechukwu trying to take it to the ground. God dang, folks. Excuse me. Gaziev, on the other hand, really big, severe cardio and gas tank issues, does not hold a lot of, energy to the later rounds. He expends a lot of gas in those first 2 rounds. He really wants to try to end the fight early. Nzechukwu my dog of the night, Stout Out dog of the night. I really think he just has the power. Gaziev's chin is gone. 2 fights, 2 knockouts. Nzechukwu just looking to sit down on one good clean shot, and he can put Gaziev away. So I'm going to say Kennedy Nzechukwu, round 1 KO, if not early round 2 KO. But I don't see this fight going the distance, but I'm going to say Kennedy Nzechukwu for the TKO win, round 1. Our next fight is in the featherweight division. It's our featured prelim fight of the night. It's Jamall Emmers sitting at a plus 310 dog, taking on Ryan Douglas, who's a minus 400 favorite. Jamall Emmers is a 5-4, record in the UFC. He's coming off unanimous decision win against Haider Emil, and he's riding a 2-fight win streak. All right, Emmers has got a pretty solid background in terms of wrestling and BJJ. Very accredited BJJ black belt. Kind of can dictate the fight anywhere he wants to take it. He gives his opponents a real run for their money when the fight gets taken down to the ground. He doesn't use it as like an offensive safety net if he gets taken to the ground. If he wants to use it, he's going to use it, Really good technical boxing, and he's got a really good stiff jab. Fundamentally, good combinations, crisp boxing attacks. He throws sharp punches down the pipe, and they are he sits down on them, and they are going to sting you. He lands about 5 significant strikes per minute. Like I said, good elite defensive wrestling. Very, very hard to take him down. Statistically, I think he's sitting at around 81% takedown defense. So again, have fun trying to take him down. His biggest thing, it kind of reminds me of like when Bobby King Green fights, is he fights with his hands so low to the ground. He fights at that, hands close to my, hips thing, leaves his chin in the air, and he's been known to take a couple shots. Nate Landwehr and Julian Erosa both fucking KO'd him because of that. It's kind of that overconfidence like King Green has, but he's just not as good as King Green. He's got some definitely things in his bags in terms of like inconsistency. I think he was supposed to walk out at a fight, and then all of a sudden started having back spasms, and the fight got canceled. So he's got some real things with inconsistency, weight cuts, and things of that nature. Also, he's sitting at 37 years of age, and he's got under 30 professional fights under his belt. So your chin doesn't last forever, boys. That's just, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. So, he's getting close to the end zone in terms of age. Ryan Douglas, on the other hand, he's 1-0 in the UFC, coming off a very good TKO win against, ironically, Julian Erosa. That happened back in March. And he's riding a 6-fight win streak. Ryan Douglas has got a really good fight-ending power. If you saw him fight in the Contender Series, he knocked out Cam Teague in 36 seconds. The dude... He can, he's got the death touch. One fucking, touch of your chin and you are going lights out. Really good multi-discipline credentials. Beyond his hands, he holds both black belts in not only Muay Thai, but Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. National freestyle wrestling title as well, during his amateur days in Brazil. So, again, very, very, he can finish the fight either way he wants to go. The big thing that a lot of people don't know about him is he started his amateur career very, very subpar. He was 8-5 prior to going on a really big run, and he almost considered retirement. So, good for him for getting back on the horse and sticking with it, but that's something that you got to keep a lookout for. Good purposeful offensive wrestling. He really uses his grappling to actively dictate where the fight wants to go. Again, though, the biggest thing that a lot of these guys is that kill or be killed mentality. He gets hit a lot. He absorbs around 8 significant strikes a minute, and I think his fight defensive metrics set at around 45%. So dude, he is not. That is one thing that kind of sticks out to me in terms of like, dude, we know you're tough, but you don't have to show it if you're gonna lose the fight. I'm gonna say he's gonna win this one, second round TKO. So I'm gonna say Ryan Douglas TKO win. And we have arrived at the main card. Our first fight kicking us off is Anthony Wint versus Terrence Chapman in the heavyweight division. This is going to be your biggest odds-on favorite of the night. Anthony Wint is sitting at a minus 1,000, while Terrence Chapman is your plus 625 underdog. For those of you who missed it, Anthony Wint has got a serious quick turnaround. Just fought on the Contender Series last week. This guy has got elite athleticism. It was a former NFL linebacker, 5'11", 234 pounds, hyper explosive closing speed, rapid footwork, and a level of agility that just stands out dramatically, unlike heavyweights who are super lumbering around or whatever. He's very, very fast and quick for a heavyweight. Devastating finishing instincts. 6 of his 7 pro fights have ended before the bell closed. Good knockout power. Sneaky grappling foundation. When they interviewed him, he said that's kind of what, it's not what his game is based on, obviously, but I mean, that's one of his most underrated tools in his bag. He's in the Kill Cliff camp now, so his grappling game is, severely upgraded. Unproven in deep waters, he's yet to see a fight really go the distance, so we don't know how his gas tank's going to look. Against most heavyweights, obviously, guys, he's going to be the shorter guy. He's 5'11", like I said, so guys who are like we said, Kennedy Nzechukwu, who's 6'5", I mean, they're definitely going to have the reach advantage over guys like him, but what he lacks in, size, he makes up for in speed and heavy-handedness, okay? And I know he said he's got, good, a good grappling foundation, but it's definitely still developing, right? He's nowhere near the elite of the elite guys when it comes like a Walter Walker or anything like that. So he's still got a ways to go before he gets, some good grappling chops under his belt. Terrence Chapman, on the other hand, this is his UFC debut. Never been finished. He's got elite knockout power and finishing rate. Got to just finish the guy in 21 seconds. I mean, he can handle himself too. Big thing what I love about him, everybody's got to look out for his devastating low kick game. I mean, that he just got his TKO win and his UFC nod after he TKO'd Julian Torres via low leg kicks. I mean, the guy knows what he's doing in terms of that, man. And that's his signature weapon against a guy who's explosive and faster like a Anthony Witt. You better believe he's going to use it. And Anthony Witt, while really good with his hands, I mean, he's yet to face a guy that's going to really, hey, if you're heavy on that front leg, Chapman's going to come for you, okay? Really good head movement, too, from Chapman, which I like. He's got a good boxing stance, really good boxing mechanics in terms of, feints, pump fakes with the jabs, and really good overhand counters as well. Another one of his, this is another one of these guys that's untested in deep waters. 88% of his professional victories have come by first-round knockouts, so him going to the third round is kind of untested. We're not saying that he doesn't have the stamina, but it's still left to be answered, right? Guys who can really close the distance really affect Chapman as well. Chain wrestlers who can bypass his long range. That's going to be kind of his kryptonite. And at the end of the day, guys, hey, don't get me wrong, you're undefeated, great, or you've never been finished, really good record, but that's all on the regional scene in Texas. When you're fighting Anthony Witt, who's an NFL level caliber athlete, or anybody else in the UFC, the competition's jumping tremendously. So, I mean, hey, listen, he's got a fighter's chance. Everybody does, but you are in a whole different category of fucking animal and monsters right now. Don't get it twisted, right? I'm going to say Anthony Witt is going to continue his streak. I think he's going to get it done in the first round. So Anthony Witt KO round 1. All right, up next in the women's flyweight division, we have Carly Judice taking on Jesla Chavez. Judice is your minus 525 favorite, while Chavez is your plus 380 dog. All right, Carly Judice, she's 3-1 in the UFC, riding a 3-fight win streak, coming off of a solid unanimous decision win against Juliana Miller. Really high percentage finishing power. 5 out of her 6 wins have come by TKO. I mean, she's really has strong elite boxing mechanics, can overwhelm her opponent, lands a staggering 9 significant strikes per minute. I mean, she's coming at you full gas, all right? Really good brick wall takedown defense. I think she's sitting at 80% takedown defense rate. And even if you do get her on the ground, she has that good urgent scramble mechanics where she can get back to her feet pretty easily. Good length for the division. She's 5'7", 68-inch reach, so she's going to have a little bit of reach advantage going into this fight. Unfortunately, even though she does have great, offensive striking, her defensive striking is for shit. She gets hit with 6 significant strikes at a clip. She takes damage pretty good. She's kind of vulnerable to heavy blitzes, which I noticed. I know her anti-wrestling is very sharp, but women that have, kind of shown the tendency to put the pressure on her, put her up against the cage, with explosive striking blitzes, she doesn't handle that great, okay? Obviously, the grappling is at a lower end. She's not trying to take you down. She averages less than 1 takedown per 15 minutes, so that is not her game at all. So it's kind of one-dimensional in terms of her offensive game. Jesla Chavez not only is undefeated in the UFC, but still undefeated as well. She's got a good split decision win against Dubin that happened in June 26. like I said, very good elite Muay Thai pocket elbows. Highly active. She's a stance-switching kickboxer. Her elbows in the clinch are very, very tight and very, very sharp, okay? It, really accounts for the majority of her significant strikes. And she lands about 4, not as many as Giudice, but lands about 4 every minute. Excuse me, 4 a minute. And sitting at 56% accuracy. Good opportunistic back taking as well. Once she gets you on the ground, she's no fish out of water there. She really almost got Dubin, out of there via submission. When the fight hit the ground, she transitioned to her back really, really quickly. She's multi-dimensional in terms of her credentials. She's got, a Muay Thai champion. She's a BJJ champion. Like I said, I'm looking at LEM, another Muay Thai championship belt and everything. She can definitely strike with the best of them, okay? She can hold her own. Her big thing is her cardio. When the fight goes to the later rounds, her cardio is lack thereof, okay? She really does not do a good job of conserving her energy for all 3 rounds. She's all gas, no breaks in that first round, and then come to the end of the fight, she is gasping for air, okay? Her takedown defense is very subpar too. It's sitting right around 62%. I mean, she was taken down on multiple occasions when she was in the Contender Series. I don't think that it's going to be that big of a threat from Giudice. Obviously, she wants to keep the fight standing. But, again, something to watch out for. I'm going to say Giudice is going to get this one done. I don't think it's going to be a finish, though. I think she's going to, take it all the way to the decision. I think Chavez has got the standing technique and the chops to at least block the majority of her, not the majority, but most of her shots. But I think she's just not going to be as active as Giudice is going to be. So, Carly Giudice, unanimous decision win. All right, our next fight is in the lightweight division. We have Markel Medeiros taking on Mason Jones. Markel Medeiros is your plus 220 dog, while Mason Jones is your minus 275 favorite. Medeiros is 3-0-1 in the UFC. As we said earlier, he's just coming off a draw against Chris Padilla. That happened in April. Medeiros has never been finished, and he's got elite level Muay Thai. Really technical, good at really seamlessly throwing calculated leg kicks, good combinations, and intercepting knees right to the body. I mean, he lands at a pretty good clip at 58%, so he's not trying to get you out of there with one fire, heavy power shot. He's really good at high volume attrition, high volume pace. Trying to get you out, over volume you through 3 rounds. By that I mean he's going to try to physically break you down. He's going to disrupt his opponent's rhythm with good combinations. Just thrives on that persistent, pace. Good anti-wrestling and takedown defense. It's right around 82%. So good luck trying to get him to the ground. I mean, again, I don't see this fight going to the ground. He is not trying to take you down at all. He's averaging 8% takedowns, less than a takedown per 15 minutes at an accuracy of 8%. Again, zero wrestling in Markel Medeiros' game. The big thing as far as his stand-up goes, his linear retreating definitely had some gaps. And by that I mean when he angles off, it's almost he doesn't angle off. He just goes straight back, and sometimes he gets himself trapped against the cage, and you cannot do that against a guy like Mason Jones who thrives in bruising, clinch, dirty boxing. As far as Medeiros' cardio goes, it kind of fades in the later round. He can occasionally make costly fouls when he gets fatigued. That happened against the Padilla fight. When he got that eye poke, and that's what caused the draw. Mason Jones, on the other hand, he's 3-0 in the UFC, coming off a good unanimous decision win against Axel Sola. He's never been finished before, and he's riding a good 7-fight win streak. Just like Medeiros, Mason Jones is coming at you with the unrelentless pace and output. He's averaging around 5 significant strikes per minute. Really good sharp double jab. Like I said, likes to fight in that phone booth. Bruising, clinch, dirty boxing, short elbows. Digging his hooks into your body and just fight-ending, devastating knees. Good kind of high-volume offensive wrestling, too. He averages around 3 takedowns per 15 minutes, right around like a 55% clip rate. I mean, not what he's obviously trying to do all the time, but if he has that in his tool bag if he needs to go to it, again, when he does get you down, he does force that heavy top position on you when he's going to deliver devastating elbows, devastating punches. He's not really trying to stall at all. Much like Medeiros, though, he definitely has some fatigue issues going into the later rounds. He can definitely, and he gets hit at a good clip. He, averages around 4 significant strikes in a minute. So if he leaves his chin out there, he's going to get clipped a couple times. And his strike defense is not that great. It's sitting right around 50%. Accuracy in terms of his strike, way low below par. It's around 42%. So, he spends massive amounts trying to hit you. But again, when you miss, that expends energy. And that's what happens when, you get not lazy, but I mean, if you're throwing that many punches, you're going to expend energy. You're not going to have that energy for the later rounds. He's a little shorter for the division. He sits right at 5'10", so he has some issues getting in against taller fighters, against lankier fighters. Has trouble closing the distance. So this fight is kind of hard for me. I went back and forth with this one. I mean, I'm going to say Mason Jones, but I'm going to say he goes the distance in this one. I don't think he's going to put Markel Medeiros up, but I think he's just going to be a little bit busier, more on the inside. His striking is a little bit more technical, and especially when he can get you up against the fence, which is kind of Markel Medeiros' weak point. So I'm going to say Mason Jones by unanimous decision. All right, up next in our light heavyweight division, we have Rener de Ridder taking on Roman Dolidze. De Ridder is your minus 375 favorite, while Dolidze is your plus 300 underdog. De Ridder's 4-2 in the UFC. He's riding a 2-fight losing streak. Just lost to Kyle Barao. That happened back in March. I mean, welcome to the light heavyweight division, Rener de Ridder. I mean, I know he's never been submitted before, but that remains to be seen. He's got a world-class grappling game. Nobody can deny him that, right? I mean, we're talking a black belt in both jiu-jitsu as well as judo. And under his belt, he's got 14 submission wins. He can seamlessly transition to, any position he wants once it hits the grounds. Really good at taking his opponents back. The signature move is his rear naked choke. He uses his long limbs to his advantage. Obviously, guys, he's 6'4" with a 78-inch reach advantage. So not only can he keep you at distance, but once he locks up those body triangles and those front choke variations, you are going to sleep, okay? Good creative takedown chains as well. He doesn't really solely rely on, explosive double leg takedowns. He uses like unorthodox methods of like judo trips, sweeps, and kind of upper body clinch works once he gets you up against the cage. His big thing not only is the cardio that we've seen just fade late in rounds, but his striking deficiencies as well. He is like the most awkward kickboxer in the world, right? He absorbs a lot of damage. It looks very visually unpolished when he throws kicks, and he allows, shorter guys to close the distance really effectively. Takedown efficiency really, even being for a submission artist is not that great. It sits at a modest 29%. So, if you can defend against his clinch entries, it's going to be a long day for Rener de Ridder. We saw that against Brendan Allen, and he's kind of untested in this new weight class. So we're going to see really how he sits down. Does he hold the weight well? Does he carry more power now that he's sitting at his more natural weight? Roman Dolidze, on the other hand, he's 8-5 in the UFC. He's coming off unanimous decision loss to Christian Leroy Duncan. That happened back in March. Dolidze has never been finished via TKO or KO, but unfortunately he's riding a 2-fight losing streak. For a guy like Dolidze, he had in submissions rather, he has like a revolutionary bottom game, and by that he really uses like weird guards pretty good, like the K guard, or there's he has these calf slicers / toe hold sequences that are pretty good. I mean, he can definitely, once he gets you to the ground, I mean, it's kind of unorthodox, but he can definitely take you out that way. Good switch stance in terms of using his heavy kicks a lot. He often resets, outside his opponent's range so he can blitz forward. He's either whether it's coming southpaw using those weird angles, or just, these kicks or these punches kind of coming out of nowhere. Good durability, good clinch control. Very strong inside the clinch, welcomes the brawl inside the phone booth. Good at exchanging knees, good short elbows, very, very good for draining his opponent's energy. His big thing, though, is, his wrestling is for shit. I mean, that's just no other way to put it. It's very sloppy. It looks more like not trying to take you down, but he's just trying to pull guard. You know what I mean? It sits right at 32%. It's actually, it's better than Rener de Ridder's, but I mean, still very low for the division. And then again, his striking fundamentals, I know he's got good kickboxing fundamentals, but they're very, very limited. His accuracy is right at 48%. His strikes are kind of telegraphed. He uses those, lies on winging on his power hand, again, throwing, telegraphed overhands, very, very susceptible to high volume counter strikers. I'm going to say Rener de Ridder wins this one. I don't think he's going to get the submission because I think Roman Dolidze is, he's not as good on the ground, but I think René Ritter is just, he's getting closer to the end zone as well. So I'm going to say René Ritter wins this one via decision. All right, we've reached our co-main event for the night, and it's in the heavyweight division. We have number 9 ranked Sergey Spivak taking on number 11 Vitor Petrino. Spivak is your plus 150 underdog, while Victor Petrino is your minus 185 favorite. All right, Spivak is 9-6 in the UFC. He's coming off a pretty good unanimous decision win against Ante Delija that happened back in February. Delija I thought was going to be way better than when he came into the UFC. He's kind of really underwhelmed me. I'm not taking away anything from that win from Spivak, but it's just a lot. It doesn't scream out elite to me when I see it. I know Spivak's never been submitted before. He's got a really good, diverse grappling arsenal, really high-level BJJ practitioner, as well as Sambo. He can shoot kind of from anywhere, and it's really hard to prepare for him because he uses those like takedowns that kind of come out of nowhere, whether it's from the clinch or just using double legs. Really good suffocating ground control and transitions. Once the fight hits the ground, he's exceptionally heavy and active. Really good use of his hips. He's got 8 career submission wins under his belt, and not to mention his ground and pound. I mean, beyond his submissions, the ability to finish via his elbows or his punches. I mean, once he gets that dominant position, I mean, he has multiple routes to get the win. Big thing for him is his striking defense and a footwork gap. Again, when he retreats, it's very blocky, it's very linear. He leaves himself vulnerable for just these fleet-footed kickboxer types. Big one was Ciryl Gane when Ciryl Gane took him out TKO. Guys who blitz, overwhelm him with pressure. He has trouble with them. Tom Aspinall is a prime example. Jolton Almeida is another example. His chin is not there at all. And he is kind of a one-dimensional game plan in the fact that he doesn't kick. He does not throw kicks at all. He relies solely either on his ground game or on his punches, but he is not throwing kicks to save his life. Vitor Petrino, on the other hand, he's 7-2 in the UFC. He's coming off a good unanimous decision win against Steve Asplin that happened in March. Really pieced Steve Asplin up. I thought Steve Asplin was going to overcome and win that one, before obviously the fight started. But, Petrino had really good boxing. He fucking beat the shit out of Steve Asplin for 3 rounds. High amplitude wrestling. He averages around 2 takedowns per 15 minutes. He uses his raw athleticism to hit these double leg takedowns, high crotch slams. The dude is fucking, if he wants to take this fight to the ground, he will definitely take it to the ground. Really good KO power. 8 out of his 14 wins come by KO. If he can put the death touch on you, you are going to be put unconscious. He definitely versatile in his strikes in terms of looping hooks or that lethal check, that check left hook too, that'll put you the fuck out. Good takedown defense for him as well. Hitting around 79% takedown defense, so really hard to take him to the ground. Definitely don't think that's in Sergey Spivak's wheelhouse. But he does have some submission losses to his record. Can be over-aggressive at times. Does have some flaws. Gets hit around 51% of the time, 49% of the time. So his defense is 51%. When he was fighting at light heavyweight, those who saw it, Anthony Smith, legal troubles aside, he tapped him out super early in the first round. So he definitely can get subbed, on the smaller end of heavyweights, but he'll use his size to an advantage if he has to. He's 6'2". Sergey Spivak's not that much bigger. Again, so I'm going to say I still like the favorite for this one. I like Vitor Petrino. I don't think Sergey Spivak's chin is nowhere where it needs to be. So I'm going to say late second round, early third round TKO for the Vitor Petrino. And we have reached the main event in the middleweight division. We have number 7 ranked Anthony Hernandez taking on number 10 ranked Gregory Robocop Rodrigues. Hernandez is your minus 180 favorite, while Rodrigues is your plus 145 dog. Boys, I've been going back and forth on this all week. This is a really hard one to call. Hernandez, he's 12-3 in the UFC. He's coming off a TKO loss, as we know, to Sean Strickland that happened back in February. What's not to say about Anthony Hernandez and his takedown volume? He averages 5 takedowns per 15 minutes. He is relentless, okay? Very, very high pace, very, very high, volume and cardio. He's got elite wrestling and elite pace. That's his calling card, for lack of a better term. He drags his opponents into deep water, makes him uncomfortable, and then actively looks for these submissions, okay? Once it hits the ground, he does not stall, okay? He has 9 career submissions to his credit. And then prior to his loss to Sean Strickland, I mean, he was going on a good run, Big thing for him, though, is he does have some defensive striking gaps. He's sitting right around 51% of his striking accuracy. He can be picked apart by longer guys like a Sean Strickland. We saw that, in that fight. Sean Strickland, his calling card, obviously, he's going to overwhelm you with volume and pace. And that's kind of what Anthony Hernandez was not prepared for in the later rounds. He was kind of susceptible to Sean Strickland's early blitzes and power and just wilted under the pressure, in the later rounds. Even though that he's, relentless takedown-wise, his efficiency is a little bit less below than what you'd think it'd be. It's sitting around right at 48%. So while he's going to take you down, per se, I mean, he's going to have a hard time doing so, especially like a dude like Gregory Rodrigues. Gregory Rodrigues is a fucking missile. That dude is jacked beyond belief. He's 10-4 in the UFC. He's coming off a great KO win against Bruno Ferreira, and he's riding a 3-fight win streak. Part of those 2 out of the 3 win streaks are one-punch KOs that sent his opponents to the shadow realm. Bruno Ferreira and Jack Hermanson, lights out. I mean, dude. Those the highlight reel finishes, right? 12 out of his, 12. He's got 12 wins via knockout. That's right around 79%. I mean, again, he can stretch you out on the floor if he gets a hold of you. Okay. Good decorated ground game. 8-time national Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion. Black belt under Henrique Machado. Again, he's not an easy guy to submit either. So if the fight does hit the ground, if he's able to get taken down, I mean, again, Gregory Rodrigues is a fucking beast on both stretches. He's got those brutal short range elbows. Especially when he gets you in the clinch, he's good at like framing off and then just drilling you with like just these sharp elbows, really short slicing elbows to the face, and could cause some severe structural damage. Again, but just like these guys who are really, really good at striking, he's highly hittable and he's got some defensive gaps, okay? He absorbs around 4 significant strikes per minute. Now, are they power strikes like the ones that he's used to throwing? No. I mean, that's why Anthony Hernandez, again, he's going to overwhelm you. He might knock you out, but it's not going to be with one single shot like a Gregory Rodrigues. Really low takedown accuracy for Rodrigues, too. He's sitting at right around 34%. So while he can finish you on the ground, he has a real hard time taking his opponents to the ground. But again, when you have one-punch knockout power, what's the point? All fights are going to start standing, right? So if I have the power to just drop you and I can find the range, I'm going to do that, okay? He has been knocked out himself. 4 of his 6 losses have been by TK or KO. So he's not, he's not immune to getting his lights turned out either. God, this is a tough one, boys. I think, damn, man. All right, I'm going to say Anthony Hernandez wins this one. I'm going to go with the books on this one. The reason I say that is, I think he can get Rodrigues down to the ground more often than not. I think his pace is going to be better. If he tightens up his boxing, he's definitely susceptible to one-shot KO, but I don't see that happening. His boxing is a little bit crisper than Gregory Rodrigues's, as well as his durability. So I'm going to say Anthony Hernandez wins this one. I'm going to say 3rd round, late 3rd, early 4th round submission for Gregory Rodrigues. All right, boys. Appreciate you guys watching the show. Tune in for next week. Same time, same bad channel. Again, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. And as always, come for the picks and stay for the parlays.